What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Real Estate for the Soul. And it's been a little wild. I know you guys have probably been wondering where I've been. My last episode wasn't since 2021, and it was in my office in front of my freaking computer talking about dumb stuff. Now, back in 2020 during COVID, we all thought that we could make a podcast, and I tried, and it's not that I failed, I forgot. But I've been busy, y'all. I've been really busy. I just earned #1 realtor in the city. I am living my best life with my good girly girls. And speaking of good girly girls, I have my really good friend, Michael Anthony. He is the business development officer at Stewart Title, and he happens to be my first guest on our new set for Real Estate for the Soul. So hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. Thank
Girl.
you for having me on. You're popping my podcast cherry.
I know. It's kind of weird. We're both kind of doing it,
Yeah, funny thing is my mentor last week was telling me that I needed to start a podcast, and then you and I got together. We were having drinks, and you mentioned that you were actually doing it.
Yeah.
And I felt like it wasn't my place to interject and say, well, this is what I want to do. And
Right.
now I'm your first guest without even ever mentioning it.
You see how God works?
Look at God. He will put you in places.
You see? And see, it's so funny. It's when I make plans when I drink, they never really pan out. And so I'll say stuff out the whim, be like, hey, let's do this. And then by the time the day comes, it's like, if they didn't bring it up, neither am I.
I honestly didn't remember.
Yeah.
I remembered you mentioning you were going to do a podcast and the location, the set was cute. But I don't remember whether or not it was, hey, we should do this and do whatever until you reached out. I'm like, yeah, I'm down.
You're like, this is serendipitous.
Yeah.
Literally, I have to get this done.
I got to do it. I'm here.
My mentor was telling me the same thing, or my coach rather. She's like, Mark Anthony, we have to do more videos. And I was like, you're right. Because all I do is my just listeds or any of that, or I do no face home tours, which isn't bad, but I want to expand my videos. So I think this is going to be really great to kind of highlight about San Antonio, highlight San Antonio real estate, highlight me and us and our friends as people, and kind of go from there. So let's jump into it.
All right, let's do it.
So title, when in doubt, it's always blame title, right?
Yeah. Yes, always blame title.
So for those of us who don't know what title is, what it's about, why it's important, why we need to go through title, what exactly is title?
So in layman's terms, to break it down, I like to compare auto insurance. So auto insurance, you're paying a monthly premium for something that could happen in the future.
Yeah.
You wreck your car, insurance company's going to come in and cover those expenses, whatever. Title insurance for home ownership is actually covering you for past things from the past. So title insurance, we will research the property's history to make sure that the people that are saying that they're selling the house can actually sell the property, that they are the rightful owners.
Right.
So we do a research of if there are any liens, that the title is clear, that they are in fact the owners and can sell the property. That means title's clear. So when your buyers, you as a buyer, once you have now acquired the home, no one can come back 6 months, 10 years and say, you're in my house. Ooh. Which, things happen.
That'd be wild.
So that's why title's in place, is to protect the buyer, so that if something were to happen, we pay a claim pretty much.
Okay, nice. So I guess that kind of brings the question, is there a lot of fraud? Like, I've been seeing a lot of real estate fraud as of lately. People have been reaching out to me on my website and they're like, hey, I want to sell this parcel of land. And they don't really give me the full detail. What was that? They don't really give the full information about what's happening. Are y'all seeing a lot of like real estate fraud in title? Are y'all catching it, or what's happening?
We are seeing a lot of fraud, especially with land deals, vacant land. The owners live in a different country. The owners live in a different state. So you have people that are finding out their information and then reaching out to realtors saying, hey, I want to sell this land. There has been some that has gotten through where it looked so legit. The signing was the same. All the information was accurate. And 2 months later, you have someone reaching out saying, hey, you're on my property. And it's like title has to pay those claims.
Wow.
Yeah. So it is becoming very, very regular.
Yeah.
The ones that have been caught, the agents are doing their jobs. They're listening to their internal instincts saying, hey, this doesn't seem right. Can you pull the information on this property for me? And then I've had an agent that had reached out. She found a telephone number to an owner. The owner was in Ohio. She's like, I'm not selling this property. Boom. That's not happening.
Wow.
So it is happening, especially with land deals.
So essentially, y'all are paying everything. Y'all are paying back the proceeds. Y'all are paying the real estate commissions back. Or how does that work? Is it? I mean, I'm pretty sure we don't want to have to get too deep in the weeds, but essentially, it's a jumbo claim, essentially, right?
So pretty much, it's the amount of the loan. Ooh. So $250,000 loan that you paid the policy for that claim. If someone comes and says, I didn't sell this property, and we do the research, there's an investigation to verify what happened. Did title miss something? Was something falsified? And if it comes back that it has been, well, we're covering that entire claim.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not a great day. So as any insurance company, our jobs is to make sure that that doesn't happen.
Yeah. And I can imagine there's some sort of like police involvement for fraud, right? Do you know if that happens?
It goes through our legal department.
Yeah.
I don't know what that looks like. I am assuming, of course, the authorities are contacted and they do whatever they need to do to find the person who stole the money, which 9 times out of 10, sometimes those are hard to track down. When the money's gone, the money's gone. Poof, gone.
Can we get someone from legal?
Yes, please.
Someone from legal, please call us next episode. Thank you.
Is that something you've mentioned that you've gotten some weird calls about that?
So, full disclosure, I'm actually kind of thinking about one of my listings right now because it's maybe a $60,000 deal.
Okay.
And I'd done the research on it. You know, I pre-vetted it through one of my title reps from times past, because it's been on the market for a little while now. Okay. And everything looks green, but I'm a little scared now because it's legit vacant land. It's still heavily wooded. It doesn't have septic or any of the utilities on it. So now my ears are kind of flickering again. And so maybe I need to touch base. Hey, Vanessa, if you're listening, can you please just check in on that for me, please?
And normally they're never in the town where they're trying to sell the land. So that's where
I might be in trouble.
I mean, maybe I would look into that. I'm like, can you do a Skype call? Don't tell me that you're in Bangkok. Like, that's fine. I will be up at 3 a.m.
We'll be there.
I just want to see your face.
Bonnet and all.
Bonnet and all. Let me know. Send me a picture.
Do you have a Facebook? Okay. Yeah. Add me on Facebook.
Add me on Facebook.
Give me something. What's your TikTok?
Right. Is it 2 pictures or is there 1,400?
Right. I need something.
I need something.
Not just a picture of your dog.
Right. Right. See, that gives red flags for many different reasons.
Exactly. Yeah. We're not dealing with that. So quick transition. Now we're in a real estate market where interest rates are increasing literally every day, every hour, every minute, every second. And buyers are saying the market's going to crash and sellers think that the market is going to crash. On the title side, are you seeing a slowdown in contracts? What's that looking like for you? Are buyers still buying? Are sellers still selling? What's going on at the title side?
So it is slow all around.
Yeah.
Listings are sitting for over 60. I've seen some that are making it to the 90-day mark.
Yeah.
And a big portion of that is because buyers can't afford to buy.
Right.
You still have some sellers that are acting like we're back in 2020 where you can overprice your home and no one's going to bat an eye. They're just going to purchase.
Yeah.
Well, that's not the case anymore. Interest rates are higher. So there has to be a life event. Yeah. People are still buying homes. People are still selling homes. And there has to be a just cause of a life event, which is you're downsizing. You're purchasing bigger space because your family's growing. You unfortunately lost a loved one and now you got to get rid of the property. You're divorcing. So those proceeds need to be split. So it has been a slowdown, and that's been the biggest thing that I've seen where our listings are just sitting. It's most of them are priced too high.
Yeah.
For some of the areas that they're in, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So how do you handle that when you're dealing with a seller who wants to price their home outrageous because you want to make your client happy.
Yeah.
Right. So how do you handle that situation to say, hey, like this is way over the top?
Oh man, there's a lot when it comes into that factor, because when I sit down for my listing appointment, a client tells me, I want to list 1.2 and it's really worth 900. I tell them, look, think of this as the Super Bowl. You're the coach, I'm the player, but ultimately at the end of the day, I'm the one that's on the field. If I need to go left when you told me to go right, this is what I know what we're going to do to win. If you want to have multiple offers, if you want to sell quickly, especially because you're moving to another city, state, and it's contingent on the sale of this home, this is what we have to do to move it. And I tell them, I'm not going to shortchange you. I'm not trying to shortchange you. I'm trying to go based off of the adjusted goals that you're looking for. So we'll pull it up on the MLS. I'll say, hey, the house across the street from you, same exact house, sold for blank. How do you think that your home compares to this? Is there something I don't know that maybe could increase the purchase price for you?
Right.
Maybe you added, brand new countertops in your kitchen that I didn't see over there. You remodeled your primary bathroom or any of that. You swapped out all of the floors. Like, tell me something that I can justify a 1.2 over a 900,000,
right.
And you're absolutely right. I've been on listing appointments where people expect the home to sell in 7 days. And I'm like, it's just not going to happen anymore. It's just not, So it comes into perspective when I tell people, hey, look at the days on market, because I even show them that. I said the average days on market, 60 to 90 days. And that's just what it is, because at a 7.5% interest rate, if I was purchasing my house today at a 7% interest rate, I could not purchase my home.
Yeah.
And I bought mine at $250,000. Like, that says a lot. My mortgage right now is maybe $1,800, which is a nice, comfortable space.
I love that.
You see how God works? I got in a nice little 3% and
I love that
and called it a day. Yeah. I feel like at 7 I'd be at, $2,600, $2,800 a month. And
about 3.
Yeah, I'm not paying that. And that's why I caution everyone, buy now. But I hate the term date the rate, or marry the house, date the rate. That's stupid. Just buy the house. I promise when it's time to refinance, me and your lender will call you.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'm still waiting for the rates to drop so I can refi.
Right. What did you buy your house at?
The
percent, rather.
So I bought last July.
Yeah.
I want to say when I first started the process, I was at like a 5.
Okay.
And then halfway through, right before closing, my lender adjusted my loan and it ended up being at a 6.5.
Oh my God.
Yes.
I would have been so upset. Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
Here we are.
And God is still providing. Let me tell you.
I mean, like we say all the time, if it has to, either it works or it works.
It works or it works.
That's it. This mortgage is going to be paid.
This mortgage is going to be paid.
Them Teslas out in the parking lot finna be paid.
Hello. I was like, who did you think he was?
Right. Y'all thought I was just balling on a budget. Y'all thought I was broke. We need contracts. Give me the contracts.
So when you don't close and you don't get paid,
right.
I don't get paid.
Right. That's why I tell people all the time. We don't close, we don't eat. I tell them all the time. I told people that I had on my team, like, this isn't for fun and games. This isn't to kiki and caca in each other's face.
Right.
We got work to do. If you don't close, I don't eat. Because I'm paying for everything.
I'm eating.
Hello. Expensive.
I'm not going to miss a meal.
Hello. And we like bubbles.
I love bubbles. Give me surf and turf.
Thank you.
All day.
We're going to Moon's Daughter and getting the lobster special and calling it a day. So whether I close or not, I'm finna be up there.
I'm going to be up there because it's going to happen either way. We going to worry about it then.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. So there's just been so much happening with the news, but I kind of want to just have a little fun. Do you have any real estate icks when it comes to being in title? Like, what's the thing where you're just like, girl, again?
Yes, I have a couple, but I'll stick with one. So for all my new agents out there and my seasoned brokers that haven't caught on, stop telling your agents to have title pay for it. Title, we are regulated by Texas Department of Insurance, TDI. There are certain things we cannot do. I cannot pay for your client appreciation party.
People have asked for that?
Yes.
Wow.
I can't do anything where it looks like I am paying for, I can't buy business.
Right.
Right. So client appreciation parties, you want me to print off your open house flyers or create your open house flyers. Girl, I am not a graphic designer. That is
Right.
not what I do day to day.
Yeah.
I can give you the tools and resources for that, but I can't physically do that.
I'll send you to Canva.
Right. Right. I will send you to Canva. I do a class on that. I know people that do classes on that.
Right.
They're happy to help.
Exactly.
But that would be the biggest ick. Agents will kind of give me the runaround. When we finally get a chance to speak or meet, they'll flip the conversation and go, hey, can you pay for X, Y, Z? And I'm like, oh.
No, ma'am.
No, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Not only will my company get fined,
Yeah.
I will get fined separately.
Right.
Separately.
It's kind of like how Trek does us.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's upwards to 10,000 or more.
Yeah.
My company's not paying that for me.
Okay.
That's coming out of my pocket.
They said you're on your own. They said Michael Anthony who?
Right. So I would get with your title partners or whoever your trusted mentors are and ask them to meet with your title companies and find out what we're able to do and what we can't do.
And I think that's super important. In real estate, our job is communication, but it seems as if no one wants to fully communicate. They just want to assume and then get upset when their assumptions aren't met. Yeah. I'm quick to ask, like, hey, what expectations can I expect? What do you want from me, et cetera, et cetera. But no one wants to have that hard conversation. And when we're transitioning into a market where things are getting harder, let's be real, things are getting harder for agents nowadays when it comes to getting business and comes to getting clients and closings. You have to have these difficult conversations. I mean, I'm pretty sure you've seen on Facebook, I've had so many friends that were in real estate when I got licensed back in 2020 who are doing different things.
Totally different.
And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's kind of a question of, were you not just applying enough pressure, or were you not prospecting like you're supposed to? Did you not have these difficult conversations with your sellers who are now mad at you, or not setting your expectations for your buyers? So I think that people are just having a difficult time having these conversations because they don't want to feel like they're the bad guy, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, and I think in real estate, there's no such thing as a bad guy. There's just, you want to sell your house or you want to purchase a home. My job is to help you do either or, maybe even both, and make sure I educate you on it. But people don't want to have that conversation of, hey, this home is paying less than what my negotiated pay is. You'll have to pay the difference. You know what I mean? I think that agents they have to do better with that. It's a weird space.
It is a weird space. I always like to meet with lenders, insurance companies, those partners, because, okay, how can we make this work?
Right.
Now, y'all know I can't do X, Y, Z, but what I'm regulated against and can and cannot do, that may not touch you.
Right.
So I'm going to help you figure out how can we make this work where we're making you look like a star.
Yeah.
And I'm not getting in trouble for it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if I have a problem, first thing I'm gonna do is call title and cuss title out.
Right. Because,
it's always title's fault.
Everything's title's fault.
Brand new agents, remember that. It's always title's fault.
Title's
Don't listen to what anyone says. If you take one thing from today's podcast,
yes,
it's always title's fault.
Always.
Specifically Michael Anthony. Regardless if you're in Texas or San Antonio or not.
Doesn't matter. Call me.
I think my biggest ick when it comes to real estate is people making excuses.
Okay.
I had a team. I went through 2 versions of said team. I had the Ball International Real Estate Group Volume 1, almost like Guardians of the Galaxy, and then I had Volume 2. And Volume 1, their big thing, and I love y'all to death. I really do. So if y'all listen to this, please know I do love y'all to death. But y'all killed me, man. It was always the leads suck. No one answers. These leads are crap. They don't want to da-da-da-da-da. We're not applying enough pressure. If there's one thing I learned from Summit, you have to treat every lead, especially online leads, that they're going to convert. If you don't treat them like they're going to convert, they're not going to convert. If you call them once and expect them in three months to give you a call because they're looking for a house now, you've missed that opportunity. I forgot to talk to someone for 4 days. I reached out. I said, hey, it's Mark Anthony, wanted to touch base. You're still PCSing here, right? He goes, yeah, I actually got here early, and because I didn't hear from you, I found another agent. I have an offer on a house, and we just finished inspections.
Wow.
And at first I was upset, but I had to take back, and I said, this person doesn't know anything to me.
Yeah.
How can I be upset for someone who's trying to do what's best for him, his family, his kids, get here, find a house, etc.? He's not going to be like, hey, are you ready to work now? No one's going to ask, are you ready to work?
True.
You know, so it's like the Kardashians said, get your freaking ass up and work.
That's true. Very true.
Yeah, it's odd. And then another one is I'm tired of people asking me to reduce my commission to help them pay for a house. Oh. I have buyers ask me that a lot. They're like,
you don't even.
Exactly. Right.
Okay.
Yeah. I've had a buyer come up to me and say, hey, Mark Anthony, what do you offer us? And I thought they were talking about my services. You know, hey, I help you, schedule the inspection and I negotiate the price for you, especially with new builds, because new builds swear they can't change the purchase price when they totally can. I said, this is the stuff that I offer you. And they go, no, what do you offer us money-wise? I said, I'm negotiating $60,000 off the purchase price. What do you mean? And I understand people who are frugal with their funds, but if we're purchasing an $800,000 house, you can pay them closing costs. Well, our other realtor gave us 1% of their commission. I said, well, that last realtor was very nice, but that's not me.
I think people they're too busy talking to their friends, and their friends are trying to negotiate for them or telling them what they should ask.
Yep.
And it's like, that's not how that works. If you want me to take a percentage of what I provide, my services that I provide for you, how about I write out a list of everything I do and you pick
Bingo.
out of 50 of these of what you don't want.
Right.
Me.
What's 1% of 50? I think it's 5. We do 5.
What would you like to not do for you?
Exactly. Because I'll be happy to do so. I'll happily remove it and give you the 1%. Actually, I wouldn't be happy to do it. We're going to cut that.
Yeah. I've had agents ask about waiving the escrow fee.
Absolutely not.
That's not my call.
Right.
I can't do that.
And that's a really good thing to mention. That's not our call. Really, the commission goes to the broker for me.
Yeah. And
then the broker pays me. And people have to understand our commission. I think what's wild is that they see how much we can make at one time. You know, if we're selling a $1 million house, 3% of that is $30,000. They think all 30,000 is going right. Is going to my house. Is going to traveling and et cetera, et cetera. Absolutely not. If I haven't capped yet, I have an 80-20 split. 20% of that goes to my brokerage.
That's
I
not
keep
including
80%.
Your taxes.
Bingo. And out of that, out of the 80% I get, I take 30% out.
Yeah.
And then I got to pay for this and that. So I have to pay my business through that same check, and I have to pay for my livelihood on the same check, my mortgage, my dogs, my car, all of that. So when you ask a realtor to reduce their commission, or when you ask title to reduce their fees, you're really taking out of their pocket. If you purchasing a home is conducive on me reducing my commission, we don't need to work together.
Yeah.
That's what the buyer's consultation is for. Don't ask me this when we're 15 houses in and now all of a sudden you found a home that you think is too expensive. I don't play that game. I don't like that.
And for those that don't know, most title reps are commission based. You can be commission based only. You can be salary and commission. The whole purpose of us being in this field in a sales position is to make that commission.
Right.
However, our commission splits are not the same as realtors.
Right.
3% off of a $350,000 house is that's the X amount of money you're getting in a check.
Right.
Well, I don't get paid off of the price of the home. I'm getting paid off of the title policy.
Oh.
So if you close on 4 or 5 homes in 1 month, you're like, damn, it's been a good month.
Yeah.
Well, 5 contracts closed for me. I'm like, what the hell happened?
Yeah.
What is that gonna do?
Where's that?
I don't got gas anymore, but I can't even charge my car.
Hello? Like, we got groceries to get.
So you see us well, I'll speak for myself.
Right.
When you see me out there and I'm talking and putting on classes and doing all this other stuff, I am making do for myself.
Right.
I need that.
Right.
So.
And you kind of segued into what I wanted to talk about next. Real estate is a full contact sport is what I like to call it. I will say I admire how much I see you on social media and you are out at everyone's event all the time. I don't care if it's another title company. I don't care if it's an agent who doesn't use your company or any of that. You are always there because from what I see, from what I assume, you recognize the power of relationships when it comes to real estate. And so it's just like I was talking about the conversion theory. It's not that in real estate, we're all trying to get everyone's business, of course, but it's like, if I just treat them like a good person, eventually they're going to come and work with me, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what I love about you. So I guess my question is, when did you really or has this always been a thing for you where you realized, I need to make these relationships. I need to have face-to-face, skin-to-skin contact with these people and get them to know my face, know who I am, and what services I provide them.
Well, first and foremost, thank you so much for that compliment. It's a beautiful one. Thank you. I'd say I transitioned into title in San Antonio in the middle of COVID, of the lockdown.
Oh my God.
There were no events. There were no face-to-faces. I was simply cold calling, and I learned really quickly that doesn't get me anywhere. As you know, San Antonio is a big but small town. Mm-hmm. No one knew who I was. No one was taking my calls. No one was calling me back. So it was when they first started doing like the little underground mixers, like it was invite only.
Right.
I knew someone that knew someone that was like, hey, come to this. And
so we all had underground mixers.
We all had underground mixers. I would get to these events, and mind you, I was calling on hundreds of agents a day. And I would start talking to someone and say, hey, I'm Michael Anthony. And they would just be like, oh, you called me. And I'm like, oh, I'm sure I have.
Right.
I have no idea who you are, but I'm glad you know who I am.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And then I just kind of realized that this is a contact sport.
Yeah.
Even for title.
Yeah.
It's based off a relationship. I hear people say, you know, we want everybody's business. I actually don't.
Oh.
Because not all business is good business.
Period.
And if you are unkind and unauthentic, then I'm not going to go after your business.
Yeah.
But I'm still going to treat you with respect, because whether or not you are directing business to me or deciding to take a meeting with me, the possibilities are very, very high that you're going to be on another side of a deal that comes into my office.
Period.
And my job is to make sure that your client has the best experience getting to the closing table and to make you shine. So relationship is most important. I think in our industry, we have a lot of prima donnas.
Yeah.
We have a lot of prima donnas.
Yeah.
And they stick their noses up. They act like they don't know you, even though you literally was just kikiing with me at this event, and now you don't know who I am. It's okay.
Exactly.
You never know where your next referral is coming from.
Bingo.
And that's the mindset that I have, that yes, I am happy where I am, but what happens a couple of years from now? And I don't know, the market takes another shift.
Yeah. God, I'm scared about that.
Yeah. Yeah. And something else that I've learned is it's not what you know, it's not even who you know, it's who knows you.
Very that.
So the taste you leave in someone's mouth after an encounter with you says a lot. So yes, I will come and support you, even though I may not be doing business with you.
Yeah.
I don't care. I will come to my competitor's event if invited. Sometimes I've walked in with one of my agents who also does business with them, had no idea that it was being held by a competitor.
Yeah.
I beeline it to that competitor, face to face, shake their hands. Look, I was invited. I'm not here to ruffle your feathers.
Right. I'm not here to take your clients.
Not here to do that. And I'm okay. I'm okay with that. And I think other title companies and reps respect that. And I don't know if it's because I'm male.
Yeah.
But my role typically is a female dominated role.
Is it?
It is.
You know, now that I look back at it, I think you are the first man in a position like this that I've ever encountered.
I am the only Black gay male in this position.
Can we just talk about that for a second?
Sure.
Like, isn't that wild that even just, first of all, just being Black in real estate is a little bit more difficult. You know, I'm pretty sure we've all heard this. We have to work twice as hard to, you know, get half of the recognition sometimes, you know. Has being a Black gay man in real estate, title specifically, whatever, has that been maybe a stopping block for you? Or has that made you feel like people were like, not really too sure I'm going to use him because of blank?
That's a tricky question. I would say because growing up and having that stigmatism of you twice as much
Yeah.
because you're black or whatnot. I with, oh, I'm also
Right.
I don't lead with that. However, I think being a black young man in this role, it gets me noticed more. I walk into a room and you don't know who I am before I know your name.
Look around, everybody.
On mute.
Exactly.
Even if you didn't know who I was when I walked in that room, you noticed me, not only because of the color of my skin, but because of the presence that I carry.
Bingo.
And so I use that. That's it.
I love that. And I tell Justin, my fiance, for people who don't know, I say the same thing. I say my superpower is being the only black person at an event space.
Yeah.
Because people watch you specifically, whether good or bad. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's kind of like what Nicki Minaj said, when I walk in, sit up straight, because the girls know what you expect and how you react to certain things.
Yeah.
It's just, it's wild to know that being in real estate, especially in San Antonio, there's not many black gay men in our realm of things. So we kind of have to be everywhere. I kind of take it to Cruella, where when she was trying to rise up in the world and she was at every of the Countess
Yeah.
events, and she was everywhere and she was noticed. And that's a page from that. And I get it. It's just a fantasy movie, but I take that movie and I apply it to real life. I'm like, I'm going to be freaking everywhere. Anytime you open Instagram, I'm going to be there. You want to open TikTok, I'm there. Facebook, I'm there. A physical event, I'm probably going to be there, you know? And it's just to have your face out there. Like, I remember when we were at NAREP, when we had the top 10, you and I just walking around, they're coming up to us saying, oh my gosh, Mark Anthony and Michael Anthony, love you so much. Mark Anthony, I love you in your hats, and Michael, da 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 da. And I'm like, first of all, how wild is that we're both MAs, right?
Right. Because it was brought up at that event, like, not the two Anthonys together.
Right.
I was like, but make sure you get them correct.
Right, exactly.
Mark Anthony, Michael Anthony.
Right, because the
Yeah.
sign-in guy messed that up terribly.
He
Bless
did.
him, though.
He said, you're already here. No, ma'am, I'm not.
You said,
I'm like, you see this one up here? He's here. And I'm pretty sure he said his name multiple times.
Did.
And you still messed it up.
even spelled my last name.
Yes.
You see, I don't get it. Okay, back into title. What is escrow? For people who don't know what escrow is, what are those funds that are in there? Where does it shoot out to? Why are taxes held in it? When are taxes paid? I know it's a loaded question, so kind of just roll with it as you go.
I'm going to shift through that. Okay. So escrow is pretty much a third party that holds funds for the buyer and the seller that's contracting a home, right? And the reason doing that is that there won't be any bias for either party to say, hey, I'm going to hold these funds and I'll make sure you get paid after close, and then you run away with someone's money.
Right.
So that's the purpose of escrow. So throughout the process, you provide the earnest money and option fee. We hold on to that. And then as we get through clearing title, getting you to the closing table, the money is sitting in escrow. And once all the documents have been completed, that's when we fund. So then we disperse the funds to the seller's bank account, wire instructions or whatever. That's the purpose of that. Now, when it comes to the taxes, the taxes are typically taken from the lender, and what they're doing is, depending on when you're purchasing the home, like we're about to go into tax season in October, right?
Right.
So I believe lenders right now are collecting taxes for the last year. It's either 12 to 14 months worth.
Okay.
So depending on who your lender is, it depends on how much they're taking. So the reason being is when tax rolls around next year, it'll be sitting in an account and it will deduct.
Got it. So the buyers essentially don't have to think about paying their taxes because it comes out of their escrow fund that has the 12, 14 months of money in it. Okay.
Now, granted, each year your property will be appraised, and sometimes your escrow account will be short. And I feel like the escrow account is always a little short,
Right.
because our value of the properties have been going up. So then that's when you'll see, because I saw it and felt it this year.
Okay.
My mortgage payment went up
And did.
because they said, oh, you're a little short of your escrow account. And I'm like, well, how long is my escrow account supposed to, like, I mean, y'all taking that from every year? Like,
right.
Like, what's going on with that?
Where's the rollover minutes? Like, singular.
I need to talk to someone about that. Like, are we going to have this conversation every year? My escrow account, well, how much is in there?
Right. Let me call Uresti. Mr. Uresti, please.
Yeah.
Can you tell me what's going on with my taxes?
What is happening with my taxes?
And it's wild. When I was at Summit, there was someone who was on stage who works out of Washington, D.C. She pulled up her MLS, and most people don't pay attention to this, but I do. I was looking at the property taxes on a $750,000 house. It's only $3,000 a year. I was flabbergasted, but it's because we don't have state tax. So they got to punch us in the face somewhere else.
Yes.
Taxes. Yeah.
Well, I wonder what their state taxes are.
I mean, when I was staying in DC, Washington, Maryland, all of that.
The DMV.
The DMV. Thank you for that. Mind fart. It wasn't bad. I got a return.
I mean, I'm from Connecticut, which is one of the highest.
Yeah, I was about to say.
State. I also wasn't a homeowner. I left at 18 and haven't turned back. So different. I don't know. Whatever. They still, I mean, it's there. I'll go visit.
Exactly. I mean, I've never been. I feel like I want to go. Isn't there a university? Isn't Yale up there? Who's up there?
Yale's up there.
Okay. Yeah. I wanted to go when I thought I was going to go to college and do the Ivy League thing. I mean, I went to college, y'all.
We are educated.
We are educated.
Yes.
Promise. But I don't know where I was going with that, but here we are. Anyway, at any rate, I'm pretty sure you've seen some wild stuff in real estate. Have you been involved in like just one of those transactions where you're just like, what the heck just happened?
Oh God, yes. A couple of years ago, I want to say some of the wildest transactions are unfortunately divorce situations, right? If it's a nasty divorce, they can't see each other, they can't sign together, they can't be in the same room together. So this particular situation, this couple had purchased the house 6 months prior and decided that if they went to Splitsville. So you went through the whole process of getting into the home, and now we need to dissolve.
Girl, your boxes aren't even unpacked.
Not barely. I don't even know if they changed the paint at this point. But so one of the hard parts was getting in touch with the wife. You know what? Yeah, the wife. She didn't show up to her signing. So we had to schedule both of them hours apart, making sure that they weren't going to be in the office at the same time.
Yeah.
Well, the wife showed up during the signing for the husband. So while my closer was in one room, the husband signed the documents, I had to put the wife in another room. And they both have to sign. So when he finished signing, he went outside and he waited for her to finish signing, and they were outside going at it in my parking lot.
Not WorldStar.
I mean, it was WorldStar.
Yeah.
There was no physical touch from what I can remember, because
just
at this
each
point,
other out.
It's like 6 o'clock at night. I locked the door and I'm like, you know what?
I got to go let Bailey out.
Gotta go.
Gotta let my
But I would say that may have been the wildest thing so far.
That's insane.
So far, yeah.
I've never seen that before, but my wildest has happened because of a divorce transaction. It wasn't necessarily because of the buyer and seller. So I was in the middle of a transaction. One of my military buyers, he loved this house. They couldn't have owned the house for maybe like 2 years, but the house was absolute trash. But that's neither here nor there. Anyway, we're negotiating. I think we're negotiating repairs, and the listing agent vanishes on me. And I'm like, what's going on? Like, hey, just want to make sure you got the repairs. You know, we're chatting about ABC 123, because they were barely making a mortgage and the commissions. Right. And you know what I mean? So listing agent disappeared. We were saying, hey, you know, if it helps, we can both do a slight reduction to kind of help both of them, et cetera, but he disappeared. Turns out 3 days later, dead.
What?
His mama calls me.
The listing agent?
The listing agent mama called me. And she's crying. And first of all, I'm like, you didn't have to make, you know what I mean? Like, I would have expected his broker to do so, because for his mom to call me, I was like, oh my God. And so she was like, hey, you know, he passed. Anyway, fast forwarding through that, I finally get in contact with the broker. I've been calling this broker 4 or 5 days. And granted, she was probably grieving because it was a small brokerage. It was maybe like 6 of them total.
Oh, wow.
Like they're operating out of somebody's house. You know what I mean? They didn't have like brick and mortar, but not like a brick and mortar. You know what I mean? So, and this was awful. Like she didn't understand anything about the transaction. They didn't have any of their files in like dotloop or SkySlope or any of that.
So just based off of every individual.
Right. And so she's like, well, I need to go through his filing cabinet to look at the file. I said, the file cabinet? What you mean? I said, we printing out everything here. Anyway, long story short, transaction from hell. I don't know if it was just the grief that kind of struck her, but kind of towards the middle to end, she started getting a little out of pocket to where I had to, come back into myself and be like, hey, Mark Anthony, she's grieving. Don't fight this lady. Do not fight this lady. We closed, we reduced our commission somewhere to help the sellers out because I didn't want to have to deal with this. And that's a situation where I'm okay with helping out. Not because I have to, but because I'm like, this has no fault of my buyer. I have no problem doing a slight reduction.
Let me offer that.
Let me offer
Let me offer that.
I've done it with new builds where they don't want to do garage doors. I'm like, okay, fine. Take the $1,300 out of my commission to pay for the garage door. Or one of my clients, the taxes changed and now they didn't have enough closing costs. I was like, fine, whatever, take, $700 out of me. But if you're going to ask me for a whole percent, baby,
Don't
for
even
what?
ask.
Don't.
Let me offer.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I have to like you like that.
Yeah. It's a case by case situation.
Exactly. But at any rate, we're getting to the end of this. Do you have any thoughts, anything about it? You want to put a plug on yourself? You want to whatever? Now time.
My name is Michael Anthony, title rep of Texas, your favorite title rep of Texas.
Not this.
Please. Hey, I love people. I love community. I love building relationships. It's all about the relationship. So whether we've already done business or you have title questions, please reach out to me. I love meeting up with people to grab a cup of coffee and chit chat, whether anywhere in town. I also like to drink and eat. So
we do like bubbles.
I love a good time. So please reach out to me. I'm pretty sure I'll plug my info at the end of this podcast for sure.
Well, and you already know me. I mean, kind of, but not really. This is the first video that's going on YouTube. So for those who don't know me, I'm San Antonio's favorite real estate agent, Mark Anthony, #1 realtor, back with another hat, butterfly earrings, whatever y'all want to call me. I'm your girl. I answer to any pronouns, just be respectful. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.
See you guys.